Hi, my name is Kathy, and I'm going to read a story for you today. And the story I have chosen to read is Miss Spider's Tea Party, and it's written by David Kirk. One lonely spider sipped her tea while gazing at the sky. She watched the insects on the leaves and many flying by. If I had friends like these, she sighed, who'd stay a while with me, I'd sit them down on silken chairs and serve them cake and tea. Well, that sounds good. She'd serve them cake and tea. Can you see them? Yes. Two timid beetles, Ike and May, crept from the woodwork that same day. But when Miss Spider begged, "Please stay," they shrieked, "Oh no," and dashed away. Three fireflies flew inside that night, their spirits high, their tails alight. They spied the web and shrieked in fear, "We better get away from here." The little trio did not fear. They cared to be a spider's meal. They think she's going to eat them. I don't know if she would eat them. For bumblebees buzz by outside. "Please come to tea," Miss Spider cried. The four ignored her, swaying there. She waved a tea towel in the air. She took a cup and tapped the glass. Then one bee spoke to her at last. "We would be fools to take our tea with someone so spidery." Within the shadows of the room, just peeking from behind a broom, five grinning faces bobbed and peered. Miss Spider smiled. Her heart was cheered. Descending for a closer look, she danced into the gloomy nook, but sadly found these jolly mugs belonged, alas, to rubber bugs. They weren't real. They were just fake bugs. Some ants strode in. They numbered 6. But ants and spiders do not mix. She brewed them tea from hips of roses. The proud platoon turned up their noses. And off they go. A fine bouquet concealed its prize of 7 dainty butterflies. Miss Spider, watching from the wall, was not aware of them at all. Isn't that pretty? Can you see any butterflies in there? Pretty flowers. The tea table was set for 8 with saucers, cups, and a silver plate. The cake was fresh, the service gleamed. Yet no one would arrive, it seemed. Her company was in no demand. Left her cup for every hand. Has her table all set up, waiting for company, but nobody's coming. 9 spotted moths kept safe and warm in a shelter from a thunderstorm. They stood beneath an open sash and watched the jagged lightning flash. Miss Spider dropped down from a thread, a silver tray above her head. She hoped to please them, but instead, they flew away in mortal dread. Off they go. Mortal dread means they're very, very frightened. all alone," she cried. She dabbed her eyes and sadly sighed. "It's plain no bug will ever stay." Her tears splashed down upon a tray. 10 tiny steaming cups of tea were perched atop her trembling knee. She sipped and sobbed, then heard a cough and turned to see a small wet moth, a fragile thing, so soaked by rain, his wings too damp to fly again. She smiled and took a checkered cloth to cloak the frail and thankful moth. They talked and snacked on tea and pie until his tiny wings were dry. Then, lifting him with tender care, she tossed him up in the air. The moth told Ike, and Ike told May, who went from bug to say, "There's no reason for alarm. She never meant us any harm." So later on that afternoon, assembled in the dining room, 11 insects came to tea to share Miss Spider's courtesy. 12 tender violets in a vase, presented too at Miss Spider's place. Set by her chair so neatly spun, she munched the blossoms one by one. Her friends were glad to watch her feast upon the floral centerpiece. It was a great relief to see she ate just flowers and drank just tea. Miss Spider's reputation grew. Before too long, our hostess knew each bug who crawled or hopped or flew, and all of their lovely children too. The end. And what I learned from this story is, I'll show you the last picture and the back. What I learned from this story is, don't ever judge anything until you know the whole story. You have a wonderful day, and thanks for listening.